Yes, everybody, and welcome to a special 420 news event here. A sort of story today that we just have to get to straight away. But first, I should introduce myself. I am Macky, the host of a cannabis podcast called High on Homegrown. If you don't know the podcast, check it out. I got some edits going on in the background, releasing an episode of Grow Guides today because it's Friday. But I thought we would get this done. I wanted to talk about this because there's so many different aspects of it. There's, will Trump reclassify cannabis? That's one. Will he do it? It's looking likely at this point. But not only will he do it, but why will he do it? And what kind of effect is it going to have afterwards? And there's people out there who, regardless of if he does it or not, they still won't like him. It's crazy. I mean, whenever Trump is added to a news story, it adds a whole different layer of stuff to it. So we're going to look into all of this. We're going to discuss it. I've got a couple of news articles here that we're going to look at. There's also a poll in the chat. So if you're joining us live, let us know what you think in the chat there. The question is, do you think Trump will actually follow through and reclassify cannabis? And the options are, yes, it's happening this time. Option 2 would be maybe, depends on the politics. Option 3 is no chance, all talk, no action. And option 4 is I don't care, I hate Trump. Because I know there are people out there that regardless of what Trump does, they're always going to hate him. So I've left that option there for those people. I saw somebody say before that Trump could rescue a baby from drowning in the sea and people would blame him for starving the sharks. Some people are just like that. You know, it doesn't matter what Trump does, they're just going to hate him. So if you're one of those people, change the sources of media you are getting. They are not good for you. Okay. So let's have a look at these news articles. You get stuck in straight away. Just a quick shout out to the people in chat so far. We've got Mad Dog, Adam Bomb, DCI Burnside, Green Grocer, Old Mar 2106, Marcus Paris. Yeah, so thanks for joining me. I know it's a rare one. Well, I say a rare one. We've only just started the series, but we haven't streamed 420 news on a Friday before. Usually it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. But, you know, special occasion today because it's a special story. And I wanted to get this before it broke and everybody was reporting on it. So we're gonna go on the first article, the one which I seen first, and was like, oh, we have to report on this. And you know how they say, follow the money, right? And this is from CNBC. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. Make sure you get your salt out, everybody. These are not to be trusted. No news company is, but I'm just saying these especially. So cannabis stocks surge on reports Trump will reclassify marijuana. Tilray jumps 33%. That's crazy. Now, there's obviously something going on in the background because these people, that they know what's going on before they tell us what's going on. You know, like Nancy Pelosi, who is worth hundreds of millions because her husband is the most successful trader of all time. It's because they know what laws are going to be passed before they get passed. So this is potentially what is happening here. Tilray's stock has jumped up 33% because they've got some insider knowledge that cannabis stocks are going to be jumping up because it's going to be reclassified. So we'll see what happens. So we got some key points here. Yeah, allegedly. Thanks for that, Green Grocer. We better throw a couple of those in there. Insider trading, allegedly. They might just be really, really smart people. Key points. President Donald Trump will significantly ease federal restrictions on marijuana and change its classification, according to the Washington Post and Axios. And we do have the Axios story coming up after this as well, which I want to get to in just a little bit. Cannabis stocks surge following the report. Tilray brands jumped up more than double digits. Damn. Cannabis stocks jumped on Friday and that's today, Friday, following reports that President Donald Trump will significantly ease federal restrictions on marijuana. Weed producer Tilray Brands surged more than 33% in Friday's pre-market, while Canopy Growth jumped 23%. You see, now we are already too late. You know what I mean? But you can guarantee there's people, allegedly, there's people in the background that know this was going to happen, and before the 23 and 33% jumps even happened, they threw a few million in there. Like, pow, stick 5 million, is a 30% jump. Yeah, it's 1.5 mil you've just made. You know, allegedly, we're not accusing anybody of anything. We're just saying what I would have done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, the cannabis growth jumped 23%. Cannabis facility operator innovative industrial properties climbed more than 6%. The Amplify Seymour Cannabis ETF CNBS rallied more than 19%. So a lot of money being thrown around right now in the cannabis market. And it's just, I mean, look at this graph here. This is from Tilray Brands. Look at the graph. Look how much it's jumped so quickly. Now, this doesn't happen for no reason. This is not just speculation like, oh, maybe he's going to do it. No, there's something going to happen here. And I thought about this as well, because you've been here while I've been reporting the news on the 420 news for the last few weeks. And we've consistently seen, and he even mentioned it in yesterday's news, there seems to be some kind of propaganda drive making cannabis out to be much worse than what it is. Like reefer madness has returned. And then when I seen this article and Trump's involved with it, I was like, maybe that's it. Because the mainstream media, they hate Trump. So maybe they're trying to make out like, oh, cannabis so bad, because they see this coming. And if Trump reschedules it, they could be like, oh, Trump's rescheduled cannabis, even though there's all this evidence of scromatin and hypermesis and psychosis, and he's just done it anyway, you know? So it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, because the media, we don't hate the media enough, everybody. They have got no interest in telling us the truth. They just want us to follow their agenda. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is there in the comments in the chat. Trump is expected to tell agencies to reclassify marijuana as a Schedule 3 drug, the Washington Post reported on Thursday. And that was just yesterday. Such a move would allow cannabis companies to fall under different tax regulations and encourage investment. Axios reported reclassification, which would move marijuana away from a group that includes heroin and into a lower tier with less dangerous drugs such as steroids and Tylenol with codeine. Would take place early next year. Trump previously floated a change in weed classification in August. This is in quotation marks here. Trump's rescheduling marijuana was not an if in our assessment, but a when, Ed Goshens of Compass Point, a middle market investment bank, wrote to clients in a Friday note. So pretty much that guy is saying it's not a case of if Trump is going to do it. He's saying he will do it. It's just a case of when Trump is going to do it. And to be honest, when you look at things, Trump has been the most cannabis-friendly president that we've seen in a very long time, because he was the guy who gave the USA the Farm Bill, which is why we see all of these people breeding cannabis the way we see it now, and the way cannabis genetics is changed is because the Farm Bill arrived and allowed cannabis seeds to be legalized, which, you know, might have gone backwards because of what's happened recently with the closing of the government and stuff. Anyway, Goshens said the reported change would be positive for the cannabis industry. He said it could catalyze the allowance of banks to service the sector and grant states the ability to regulate it. If Trump orders weed rescheduling in January, Goshens anticipates the Drug Enforcement Administration would finalize a proposed rule for the reclassification by the summer. Damn, it takes so long. You see how it takes so long for this to happen? But when the government closed and they wanted to stick that little bill in there to get over those loopholes that was in the Farm Bill, see how quickly that was done? But when shit goes in the opposite direction, it takes months. Bill Kirk, senior research analyst at Roth, said he also monitoring if the Supreme Court decides next week to hear a case on state regulations and federal prohibition for cannabis. A positive ruling for the industry in this case could speed up regulatory timelines. Pot stocks have struggled since they went public around 7 years ago, even as cannabis has received broader acceptance and easier state classifications. Tilray shares were down 36% this year before Friday's move, so they're still down 3% on the year. So maybe this is not financial advice. Maybe there's still time to buy stock. Maybe. The Amplify Cannabis ETF is still on track to lose more than 8% in 2005, which would mark its fifth straight negative year. But obviously, if it's rescheduled, things are going to change. You know, it's a very interesting story, therefore. I mean, we're looking at when you're seeing share prices move like this, there's something potentially going on in the background that we're not quite aware of yet. So maybe reclassification is coming. Now, do you think that's a good thing? You think going down to Schedule 3? I mean, I've seen somebody put in the chat earlier about how it's going to just allow big companies to take over the market. Is that going to be the case? Let us know what you think in the comments in the chat, because I'm not too sure about that. I don't know about all of this to those kind of levels. And obviously, I'm in the UK, so I don't know how it's really going to be. Will it be for the better, though? Yes, it should be for the better. I know we don't want big companies taking over, but when these places, like dispensaries and things like that, are going to be able to do proper banking, then that's going to make a big difference. These guys have to deal in cash. It's difficult to pay the right amount of taxes. There's also when it's Schedule 1, it means that there's no research to be done. If it gets brought down to Schedule 3, then there's going to be loads of research that's going to be allowed to happen. So, it's not going to be 100% all positive, all good, but there's definitely good aspects to this that we need. So hopefully, it's a big step in the right direction. Obviously, it's not all going to be fucking great, Can't write anything in your chat without it getting deleted. I don't even. Nobody's deleting it, mate. Nobody's deleting it. Maybe you're just typing in swear words and you're looking, or if you write something that is going to be censored in some way, then it's better to click on not top chat. It's the other one. It's live chat, and then you're more likely to see what's going on. Right? Never trust the government ever. There you go. I've read it out for you. So even if it does get deleted from chat, we can still see it. And you're exactly right. Never trust the government ever. Never. They aren't doing anything in our favor. They don't do things that are good for us. They do good things for their friends. That's it. Yeah, how can cannabis be regulated to standards such as Tylenol, paracetamol? It has to be regulated in some way. This might not be how we want it in the end, but it's a step in the right direction. It's not just going to be perfect as we want it, like cannabis under the same standards as coffee. It's not going to be like that straight away. We're going to head in a direction that we're not going to be happy about. There's going to, but at least steps are being taken. This is a step in the right direction. It's not going to be done overnight. It's going to take years, maybe even decades, before we see it to the legalization of how we want it. But we will get there. The discussion right now is Trump going to reclassify cannabis anytime soon? And it's looking like that's going to happen. And that would be huge. You might not be happy about it, but it's going to be huge. It'll take a big burden off a lot of people's shoulders. I just want to take a look at this next article here from Axios, which was brought up in the last article there. So we'll quickly cover this as well. Trump leans towards reclassifying marijuana. So there he is. Look, I bet he's saying China. Look at his mouth in China. President Trump is likely to loosen still tough federal restrictions on marijuana use early next year, Axios has learned. So that's what they learned. They're not speculating. They're not thinking, oh, maybe he's going to do this. They have learned that he's going to do it. President Trump is likely to loosen still tough federal restrictions on marijuana use early next year. Why it matters. While conservatives have long expressed a degree of discomfort with pot, Trump has shown an openness to it. Under the plan, Trump will reclassify marijuana, which under federal law is banned and faces the same restrictions as heroin, as a less dangerous drug. That would ease regulations and make it easier for pot-related medical research to be done and create tax breaks for cannabis companies. That is all good. Sure, it's not perfect. There's still going to be issues in the process, but that is good. What I want to see is more research, because the thing we complain about often is there's not enough studies being done, and when the studies are done, they are not good enough. But if you can bring it down to Schedule 3 so studies will be allowed, game changer. We'll see so much being done. We'll see so much. And instead of just seeing bullshit news articles about, oh, scromatin, we'll start seeing a lot more positive news articles when actual double-blind studies are being done and we can find out what cannabis is actually capable of in a scientific manner with the scientific method. So then it can't be denied. It can't be, oh, that's anecdotal. It's no, look, we've done the double-blind studies here. We've done it all properly according to the scientific method. And we have no doubt that this is what cannabis does. That's what we're looking for. And that's what's going to take place if it gets brought down to Schedule 3. It will take a couple of years, but it's still going to happen. Where was I? I can go off on one sometimes. The Washington Post first reported on the expected move. A White House official said Thursday there's no final decision has been made. Yeah, so whatever. It seems as if something has been said in the background because the stocks are going up. Is that old Reddit server, that Pelosi Watch, still up and running when you can see what Pelosi's investing in? Allegedly. Trump's team has been reviewing survey numbers showing growing support for reclassification. Tony Fabrizio, a senior Trump strategist, has been doing work on the pro-cannabis lobby. The background. Trump in September posted a video on Truth Social which advocated for Medicare coverage of hemp-derived cannabinol. Look at that. That would be nice. In August, Trump confirmed the Wall Street Journal report that he was considering reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug, meaning that it would have a low abuse potential. As it currently stands, pot is a Schedule I drug, meaning that it has a high potential for abuse and has no accepted medical use, which is ridiculous. Because there's like 40 states in the USA now that have legalized cannabis for medical use. But at the same time, the federal law say there's no medical use for it. It's ridiculous. It's time for an update here. Reclassifying the drug would ease restrictions, make it easier for cannabis companies to transfer their products across state lines. Imagine that. And ease their tax burden, because this is another thing. You have this interstate commerce thing, but you have all these states that have legalized for both medical and recreational, but you can't go from one rec state, say like California, to Minnesota, which I think both have legal recreational. You can't take cannabis between the two. That would be crossing state lines and is essentially a felony. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So that would change this problem as well. So many good things to come from this. Just because Trump's doing it, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. All right. So I know there's plenty of people out there with this Trump derangement syndrome. It's real. It's real. There's people out there who, regardless of what Trump does, they'll just hate it. But there's no need for that. This is a good move. I know if Trump's done it, and you might not like Trump, but this is potentially a good move for cannabis in the USA. So just try and get to terms with that. I know a lot of people don't like Trump, but even if you hate Trump, try and get to terms with the fact that this could be a good thing for cannabis. All right? Trump's move would not make marijuana federally legal for recreational use. No, I don't think it would do that. A number of individual states have taken steps to loosen restrictions on weed use. 24 states, 3 U.S. territories, and D.C. have outright legalized it. By the numbers, public sentiment on pot use has been shifting for the past half a century, with Americans increasingly in favor of it. According to a recent Gallup poll, 64% support legalization, up from 58% in 2015 and 36% in 2005. So a gradual rise over the last couple of decades. Behind the scenes, cannabis companies have been courting Trump, including, that means passing envelopes, you know what that means, allegedly, including by filling his political operations coffers. You know what I mean? As we say, but then there's the big pharmaceutical companies that are also going to be doing the same thing, saying, don't do it, Trump, here's some money. And you got the cannabis conglomerate will be like, do it, Trump, here's some money. Win-win both sides for him. And this is the same for all politicians. I'm not saying it's just Trump who's corrupt and crooked. They're all like that, all right? They're all doing that. Behind the scenes, cannabis companies, I've read that one. The Pro-Cannabis American Rights and Reform, the PAC, has donated $1 million to a Trump-aligned super PAC. Several cannabis companies donated to Trump's inaugural fund. What's next? Some liberals worry that Trump is seeking a political edge by relaxing restrictions. As I said, these liberals, especially the far-left liberals, they will say anything. It doesn't matter. Trump could go out and cure cancer and be like, oh, but what about pneumonia? Oh, but what about AIDS? Trump will never do anything good in their eyes, regardless of what he does. We've all seen it in real life. The people out there who just, regardless of what Trump does, they will never say it's good. A liberal group, the Progressive Turnout Project, recently warned that Trump was threatening to steal marijuana reform right from under us. What does that even mean? What are you even talking about? Did you hear the same outcries when Biden was trying to do it when he was in power? No, you didn't. Because these people are not honest. They are not trying to have honest conversations about the future of cannabis in the USA. They just want to play silly political games and be like, oh, but I want the Democrats to do it. I don't want Trump to do it. It's like they're all full of fucking shit. I don't care who does it. Just get it done. You know what I'm saying? I don't care, man. You're playing these silly games, watching too much MSNBC and CNN. You think Trump's the devil. He's just as bad as every other politician that has been in charge in the USA, the UK, all of these fucking countries. They're all the fucking same, man. They're all the same. Trump is no more the devil than anybody else. But some people have got it all twisted. If Trump does this, there's going to be blue states who currently have legalized recreational cannabis, and they'll take a step backwards like, oh, no, Trump's legalized. That means it's terrible. Because this is the mentality people have. It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. This potentially could be a good thing. If you have issues with it, just pretend Joe Biden's doing it, all right? And you'll feel a lot better. Pretend Obama's doing it, and you'll feel a lot better. Stop playing these silly games. It doesn't matter which politician is doing it. It's a good thing. Let's move forward. Let's try and get cannabis rescheduled so research can be done and more steps can be taken in the future. Let's get it rescheduled so there can be interstate commerce and then there can be more transactions between different cannabis companies. Let's do that. You know, imagine how good it would be if a load of cannabis can be grown in California in the sun, for example, instead of it being grown in Alaska, let's say, under lights, which is just wasting electricity and adding to the carbon footprint. And you know how people talk about that climate change thing all the time? We don't want to be fucking messing around with lights, burning electricity. You know what I'm saying? So there's loads of things that can happen with this that could be good. I don't see much bad in it yet, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of you guys, and I don't want to hear, oh, you know, bullshit just because it's Trump that I'm wrong and it's going to be bad. Just give legitimate reasoning, legitimate arguments to why you think that this could be a potentially bad thing. I know people are going to say that big companies are going to take over, but how else would it be done? You know what I mean? I mean, what steps should be taken that would be better than this? You know what I mean? So just, you know, I'd like to know. I'd like to be informed. So tell me about that if you have any disagreements, if you think Trump is doing something crazy here, you know. So, yeah, that's the two stories. You know, I'd like to try and keep this between 10 and 15 minutes, but we did have two stories to cover in this one, so we're going on a little bit longer than what we usually would do. And, of course, we're on Friday as well. This was just a special event. This was special news for us to cover here. You know, so I wanted to get it out here so we can discuss it. And we'll probably discuss this more on Sunday's show as well, so make sure you come and join us on Sunday. But I want to have a quick read of what's going on in the chat here. Not Agent Orange. But is they just basically people sitting at a call center pressing buttons, and the people forget they're here in America. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. If you mean like all the politicians are the same, it's like the Uniparty. They're all doing the same thing. You know, I see it that way the majority of the time. It just seems as if, you know, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Nothing really changes. It seems like they're all in charge of, and they're just, you might say red tie, blue tie, whatever. They're all doing the same thing. They're all fucking over ordinary people. I mean, they don't have the best interests of the average person at heart. It's who's passing the envelopes, allegedly. That's important. Smee said, I would argue Trump is a better politician because he's not from the inner circle of presidents. At least he does help the working man more than most, in my opinion. It's a valid point. You know, he's not an establishment politician like the others are. I don't know. It's a discussion to be had, that is. Let me know what you think in the comments there, everybody. Do you think Trump is establishment or not? All good companies have an asshole keeping it organized. Cliche business. Nice one, Fire Chirper. I like it. Life goes on. Tune. Police cannot enforce Imperator Trump. What's that mean? If people want cannabis legal, they will make it legal. Well, bro, you can say that, but we've wanted cannabis legal for 50 years, and it's gradually. I mean, we just seen numbers there from back in 2005. That was over. You know, that was a large percentage of people that wanted cannabis legalized. Here in the UK, we got a ridiculous amount. More than 70% of people want cannabis legalized for recreational use. That doesn't matter. The only people that matter when it comes to the decision of should we legalize cannabis are the people passing the envelopes and the politicians accepting them. It doesn't matter about the average people who want to see cannabis legalized. It doesn't matter what we think. I mean, we've had big discussions about it here in the UK, and nothing changes. And it doesn't look like anything's going to change for the next 10 years here, even though people want it. So I don't think that's correct. I don't think that just because people want it, that it will get done, because we haven't seen that happen anywhere else. It's only when it benefits the politicians and their friends is when you see legalizations. Yes. At least he can dance, though. That's right. Do the Trump dance, everybody. Come on. Funny. Yeah. Don't forget to pollinate that like button. Good choice there. Lucid Genetics. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new as well. Your personal opinion is quite irrelevant. Exactly. Yeah. And that's my personal opinion. Your personal opinion. It is quite irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We need to see what actually happens. That's what we want to see. But you can still opine. You can still express your opinion. And we can discuss each other's opinions, even if they differ. That's what, I enjoy those conversations. I like having conversations, good faith conversations, not people who just want to say bullshit. If we're trying to just figure out the truth collectively, it's good to have discussions with people that have a different opinion to you. And I think we've lost that. There's loads of people who just refuse to have conversations with people if they have a difference of opinion, especially when it comes to Trump. Especially when it comes to Trump. It's like, I don't think Trump is the greatest. I don't think he's the worst. But because I don't think he is the devil, I've lost a lot of friends because of it. Because I don't believe the bullshit the mainstream media tries to spam on us. I don't believe that shit. So, I've lost friends because of that. I was watching some of the streams on Martin's World. The ROI are still operating a pre-2018 mindset. Is Martin's World streaming again? I know he was off for a while. I don't know if he's back. We need to get him back on the show. Yeah, I haven't seen if he's been streaming, but it'd be good to catch up with him if he's back on the game or back in the game. You don't want to be on the game. That's a bit dodgy. Fuck yeah, no. Just another puppet meeting controlled. Yes, that's the way it seems to be, doesn't it? That's the way it seems to be. Nobody's ever doing anything for the good of the American people or even the English people, whoever. They're just doing what's good for them. Well, I can bitch at my local Congress and have things changed. And if the focus is on Trump, people won't do that. And these corporations will only be heard. You have to act towards government in the US. Nice. Yeah. Same here, fam. We're supposed to get 2 polar blasts in a row. Oh, you're talking about weather? This is Cannabis news, not weather. We're not talking about weather. I don't hate him. I just don't trust sexual predator liars. Stop watching CNN, bro. Stop watching CNN. All right. That's allegedly. Green grocer. It's ridiculous how much money these politicians are making. For real. Who was it who said? Was it George Carlin who says that maybe they need to wear jackets with who sponsored them? We have, who's that? Tony Smith in the chat. I'm a working class 60-year-old American. So this man has got experience when it comes to presidents. He's seen more than I have, and in my opinion, President Trump is the best president we've ever had. Well, thank you for your opinion there. It's good to hear opinions on both sides because some people say he's the worst. And some people say he's the best. It's difficult to know. I don't live in the USA, so I don't make any judgments because I don't have to, live it day by day. But I do see that many people dislike him, and it's usually because when I have discussions with people who dislike him, it seems like they're massively uninformed, and they're watching particular news networks but have no interest in properly informing people. And I like to have discussions about this kind of thing, so I've had many discussions with many different people, and it's a very interesting topic. I appreciate your input there, Tony Smith. Thanks for saying so. And of course, if you disagree with Tony, let us know in the chat, in the comments, man. We can have a discussion about this in a friendly manner. That's what we're supposed to be able to do. All right? So if somebody has a difference of opinion, don't just hate them and instantly shut them down and not want to have conversations and not be their friends anymore. We're supposed to have these discussions. It's okay to disagree. Discuss, everybody. That's what we need to see. Private stash tobacco and alcohol are too powerful to allow any meaningful change. They will not see weed damage their market share. Very good point there. I like that, because this is something as well. We've seen that when cannabis is legalized, loads of people stop using alcohol and, massively reduce the amount of alcohol they use. So the alcohol conglomerate would definitely be trying to reduce the chances of it being legalized as well, for sure, for sure. So, they could be passing the envelopes around as well. Just everybody throwing fat envelopes around, allegedly, just trying to convince politicians on what to do. Because what's the best way to convince a politician to do something? Not by rallying and listening to what the people want. They just want to see what envelopes are being passed around. Pseudoscience 420 said, I have no opinion except it's odd how the focus is only on Trump and not on everyone else in power as well. Well, I think the focus is on a lot of people. Anytime, Macky, you're very welcome, sir. Love your show. I've been a cannabis enthusiast since the age of 15. Never been in trouble with the law over it either. Good man, good man. And next you're going to say Trump is not racist, you melon. You're not welcome here with an opinion like that, mate. You're just going to come here and personally insult people. Just throw around personal attacks like that, you melon. Bro, you can disagree with what I'm saying, but don't sit there and try and make out like I'm a fucking idiot because I don't agree with what you have to say, all right? We don't appreciate that kind of shit. If you're willing to come here and have a good faith discussion and discuss our different points of view, I'm willing to have that. But throwing around personal attacks and calling me a melon is not the way to have a discussion, is it? We can tell which way you lean. Alcohol is evil, poisonous syrup that allows the demons and spirits to destroy you. Man, yeah. Very, very dangerous indeed. But as an adult, you should be able to make that decision for yourself. If people want to consume alcohol as an adult, as long as it doesn't have a detrimental effect on somebody else, you should be able to make that decision for yourself. Same with cannabis. Some people don't like it, but as an adult, you should be able to make that decision. As long as it's not having a detrimental effect on somebody else, you should be able to choose to have that if you wanted. Simple. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so good discussion. I think good discussion. I just want everybody to just be a little bit more open-minded and try and understand that the media doesn't want what's best for us. All right? They don't try and tell us the truth. So if you believe strongly in either direction, just try and understand why. Because you can see there's people who strongly dislike Trump. There's people who strongly like Trump. And it's because of the media we are consuming. And we should all be sitting somewhere in the middle. We're skeptical of both sides. So just try and stay there, And I don't know. Just try and discuss things with people who have different opinions with you. And don't fucking lose your temper, Just try and have good faith discussions. This is turning into a bit of a preachy thing now. But, I just feel strongly about that. I've lost a lot of friends because they haven't had the ability to just have a rational discussion with me about things I believe and things they believe that differ, Don't come here to insult, especially Macky. Without him, we wouldn't have a place to discuss anything like this. That's right, just don't slag people off. It's not the way to have an honest discussion, is it? You know what I mean? You lose the argument when you start throwing around personal attacks, ad hominem attacks. Attack the argument. Don't attack the person, okay? What kind of melon would it be if I had a choice? I'd be a honeydew melon. None of them yellow ones. He got more black votes than Kamala. Very true there, DC. Very true. Yeah. Anyway, but you won't be hearing none of that on those certain news networks, would you? No, you wouldn't. They don't want you to see that kind of news. They got a narrative to push, and the more they can divide people, the better. The better. But yeah, this has been a long one, and I could rant about this stuff for ages and could have a whole discussion in here about Trump and why he's hated and why he's loved. And essentially it comes down to the point that we don't hate the media enough. They are lying to us constantly. And as cannabis consumers, you should know that. We have seen it for decades, everybody. We've been victims of it for decades. Look how much stigma there is still about cannabis. Why is that? It's because the media has lied and brainwashed people for decades. They're still doing the same thing now. It's not as if they've changed to become good people. They are still lying. That's on the left and on the right, the far left, the far right, whatever. They're all fucking lying. They're just trying to get clicks and they're trying to sell newspapers. They're not trying to inform us. You have to inform yourself. And the only way to do that is by having proper discussions with people that you disagree with. Don't listen to the mainstream media. There's no point. Do your own research, all right? And lots of it, and have conversations with people you disagree with. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay. You can be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. All right? Go and find opinions you disagree with and test your own opinions. That's what you have to do. You can't trust the mainstream media, because this is how we end up in the divisive state we're in right now, where people can't even be friends with each other because they have a difference of opinion. People are losing family members because they have a difference of opinion. Stop it. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to disagree. Don't take it so seriously. But with that, I think that's a nice place to end it. All right. And anybody who's still here after that's 40 minutes of ranting, half an hour of ranting, supposed to keep these fucking episodes short. But let me know in the comments and in the chat. Do you think it's going to happen soon? Do you think rescheduling of cannabis is coming? Do you think it's going to be a good thing? Do you think it's going to be a bad thing? Or do you not care because Trump is the devil? We've got all about this poll. I just reminded myself there. I'm going to end the poll now, so we can see what the results were before we go. So the question was, do you think Trump will actually follow through and reclassify cannabis? Maybe, depends on the policies, 46%. Now, that's a good stance to have. There's no definite yes or no. We don't know. Maybe is the best answer to that, in my opinion. That's where you should be. Maybe. We'll see what happens. So I agree with the 46%. We got yes, it's happening this time, 23%. I like the optimism. Fingers crossed that you guys are correct. No chance at all talk, no action. Also definitely possible. Just depends on what side the envelopes are being pushed in. And then you've got 13% who said, I don't care, I hate Trump, which is a crazy stance to have, in my opinion. Stop that. Stop that. If Trump does something good, Trump does something good. You can dislike him. You can hate everything that he fucking does. But when he does a good thing, acknowledge it's a good thing. All right? There's a little bit of homework for you. If you hate Trump, just go out, do a little bit of research and find one thing you think that he's done that is good. Because there's good things that he's done. You just haven't seen it. Go find one. All right? Yeah, descheduling is the only real path forward, in my opinion. What's up, Type 1? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it might be the right way to go, but this is the right direction for now. Well, this is, at least it's a step forward. It's heading in the right direction. It hasn't even happened yet, and it might not. So we'll wait until January. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, I appreciate you all joining me again. Thanks, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the rare Friday 420 news here, and I think it's been a good discussion, you know. I'm just reading the chat again from Type 1 here. He said, on another note, I think marrying yourself to any politician is a mistake. People need to stop treating these assholes like celebrities. Whoop, whoop. Preach, bro. A chat full of government-loving normies. A good jab daddy. How many Trump-tard boosters did you take? Wow. Yeah, that's right. How many Trump? I didn't take any of the vaccines, mate. And if anybody did take the vaccine, then that was completely up to them. All right. You can't just go around judging people like that. Look, you're doing it again. Just judging people. You know, Trump-tard boosters. You can't have a rational conversation. You just got to come here and try and insult people. It's not the way to do it, mate. You're not going to make any friends or win any arguments talking to people like that. So stop it. Think about what you're doing, man. You're not making any friends. You're just making more division. It's ridiculous. This is not how you should be having discussions. As an adult, this is not how you should be talking to people. All right? Just think of it. Just think about what you're saying. Anyway. Disappointed in some people, man. Disappointed. You know, as adults, as cannabis consumers, we're supposed to be a little bit more laid back and chilled and to be able to have discussions with people we disagree with, man. Sure, we don't need to be there throwing around personal attacks at people like that, trying to make out like people are stupid. People are not stupid. They've just been misinformed. That's all. You have to do your best to inform them or inform yourself. And that can be done by having open, honest conversations with people. And you don't have open, honest conversations with people by insulting them and make out like they're fucking stupid. Think about what you're doing, man. Do better, all right? But I'm going to go now because I could just sit here and talk about this all day, and I don't want to do that. I want to try and keep these videos as short as possible. We're already hitting half an hour. But again, I appreciate you all. Even those who have come here and said silly things, I appreciate you as well. You are part of the conversation, and I want you to be here to have that conversation. Just have it honestly and stop with the personal attacks against people. It's not the right way to go, all right? Try again next time and just present your arguments in a rational manner. That's all you have to do, all right? So stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you on Sunday for the live show, all right? Have a good weekend, everybody.